live streaming today's event, the Eclipse of 2024. We have a lot of planned, a lot of things in store for everybody here to enjoy. We have people outside right now as we speak, getting ready to take a look at the eclipse. It's one lifetime event. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about a lot of other things in the meantime as we approach the main event. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be introducing today Antonio Gomez Miranda from Mexico City, who will be talking about Archeoastronomy, the impacts of eclipses on Mesoamerica and in societies here in Latin America. So we are also going to be planning a couple of other things also from Texas Tech. We'll have a presentation from them later on. And we're going to see also collaborations with Gene Roddenberry, also with UTEP, and with the NASA GLOW program, where we're actually going to invite people and students here to engage with NASA scientists. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, you can actually engage with NASA scientists in helping them record and gather data of clouds, of the surface, and also air temperature, so we can study the effects of the eclipse here on Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now pass it on to Mr. Miranda.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Olinka. Thank you for allowing me here to have this presentation. I'm going to put the mic. Okay. I'm going to read the first few words. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. The goal for today is to provide you with a brief overview of the accomplishments achieved by the sky observers of ancient Mexico, as well as the tracking, calculation, and recording of eclipses, which is the topic that has brought us together. I go further with the presentation, Olinka?
Yes.
Okay. All ancient cultures observed the sky and based a significant portion of their symbolism and worldview on celestial mechanics. Astronomy permeated every aspect of ancient cultures. In the case of ancient Mexico, the sky was the center around which everything revolved. We all know in one way or another that the Maya were great astronomers and builders of impressive pyramids. But how we did achieve this? It is due to thousands of years of observing and recording celestial mechanics. The history of Mesoamerica begins with the appearance of the Olmecs and continues through various civilizations into the Mexicas, spanning at least 3,000 years of civilization. It was the Olmecs who laid the foundation of ancient Mexico, including their educational system, food, healthcare, religion, and cosmogony, as well as their sciences such as mathematics, writing, calendars, and astronomy. So astronomy was the backbone of that's the slide we're looking for. Astronomy was the backbone of Mesoamerica. It was in their constructions, in their art, poetry, codexes, books, and of course in their pyramids, everywhere. Astronomy permeated everything, every aspect of the culture. In case of the calendar, there were the gods that created the time and the calendar in Mesoamerica. Time itself was a sacred ruler. The earliest political leaders in much formative Mesoamerica were day keepers. No alcanzo a leer bien, pero bueno. Okay, next slide. What is archaeoastronomy? Sorry. Archeoastronomy is the discipline that studies the relationship between astronomy and architecture, stones, monumental stela, codexes, and other elements in Mesoamerica. The majority of Mesoamerica cities exhibit similar alignments in their construction axis or their main structures that point to significant dates in Mesoamerica calendar. For example, there is an image of Xochicalco Cave that is in Morelos, Mexico, There are caves of zenithal observation. The most famous of this one, it's there, where the cave remains with light 105 days and without light 260 days in a year. What is the number of 260 means? It is the sacred calendar in Mesoamerica. I'm going to speak up a little bit in what it's around the calendar and how it's composed. Everything is related to the calendar. It is shortly simply call it a calendar because the tool goes beyond counting days. This instrument dictated the fates of people. The rulers were subject to what the calendar dictated. Every activity of society was ruled by calendar. However, the most important aspect of this tool, it is a synthesis of their astronomical observations. The calendar itself, let's speak about the 260-day calendar, had a sacred geometry. It has their own directions and properties with the colors and properties and directions. The sacred calendar of 260 days had 20 symbols, which are animals, most of them. Every animal and symbol had their own direction and color, and 13 numbers. The combination of 20 and 13 give us the calendar of 260 days. That was the sacred calendar. Now, of course, they have the 360-day calendar, which was the solar calendar. So both, I don't know if you can click the, so they can run, yes, please. This is how it may look, the wheels of the calendars working together. The calendar of 260 and the solar calendar. Of course, the other ones too, they were running like wheels. So how do I see it? The calendar is cyclical, and each wheel represents the explanation of a cycle that interlocks with other wheels, each of them serving specific function. What about the Maya codexes? The books of the Maya codexes. I don't know if
can we
I'm going to show you at this moment about the Maya codexes. In Mesoamerica, information was passed down through generations in various forms, such as carvings on stones and stelas. Also, they encoded in mathematics in pyramids or documents known as codexes made from amate paper. Unfortunately, the entire canon of codexes that may have existed, most were destroyed, and only a few have them preserved in museums of the Mayan codexes. 4 remain. With this, there is a compilation of astronomical data that has gradually been deciphered. Here I have a codex. You can see it on screen. This is the Paris Codex, which talks about constellations and basically talks about constellations, calendar, planets, Venus. Here we have, and I'll be talking a little bit, the 13 animals of the zodiac. So this is an example and a facsimile of how these codexes may look. This is beautiful. This is the other side of it. This is one of the Maya codexes, Codex Paris. All right.
That is great information. Thank you so much for being here today, Antonio. Sorry.
I'm going to go to the eclipses now.
I'm just fascinated with the information.
How much time do you have?
Keep going.
Okay. All right. Okay. That's the word Ahkuhu'un in Maya, of a day keeper, sky watcher, or calendar priest. That's what it means. Next. Maya constellations. Next. This is the Zodiac Almanac, which I just showed you. There they go, the 13 animals. They are grabbing an eclipse symbol. Next. What we did next is we reconstruct this table in a PHP program. Okay, we reconstruct the table, which is numbers and symbols. Next, and project it to the future. There you find 13 months of 28 days. Then this group of 5 years. Next, which gave us a total of 1,120 days, 5 years. We projected in a computer program, next, to the future, reconstruction of the table. So we can find out how this table behaves in the long term. What we found in many other things is this table matches the 260 day again in a table that repeats his cyclicity on the long term. And what we find out on this table, in this reconstruction, it's works in packages of 20 years, just like the cycle of cartoons are organized. Next, what is a cartoon? I'm not going to go deep on that, but this is what we found in the colonial books, the Wheel of Cartoons, next, which is a period of 260 days. Now, we go into the Dresden Codex. Dresden Codex is another book of the Mayas. Over there we found between 50 and between the pages of 50 and 60, the eclipse table or the eclipse almanac. There we can find the table to predict eclipses into the future. Can we show the Dresden Codex, please? I'm going to show the table that shows the most famous table that shows the almanac of eclipses. So here it is. You tell me when it's ready. Okay, so here is the Almanac of Eclipses. This is a table of 11,960 days, which is 33 years and a half. Basically, this table of the Mayas use them to calculate and predict eclipses. This table has to have certain corrections at the end, which is also explained in this table, to continue working to the future. This almanac could predict eclipses, making the correct corrections to the future on an infinity. Okay. Next. I could go deeply into this table, but I'm going to go very briefly. The Mayas, as I said, predict and watch and register the eclipses. Next. There is the table again, and when it was built in the centuries 8 and 14, it was 100% effective, but again, making the right corrections, it can go forward into the future. I'm going to show you the next slide, how this table is divided, how it works. Basically, those are the zones 1 to 6. The first ones explain the introduction to the table and also the corrections that have to be made. The section 6 are the 10 pictures of the 10 columns, 11,160 days. More or less, there's a brief explanation, I'm not going to read it, on how it works. Just remember, the lines and dots is the mathematics, is the group of numbers. It's full of that table. Next. So making the correct corrections, there's an American investigator table and explain also how did they do it. I'm not going to go deep on it. Next. The table, the corrections that have to be made. Calendar and eclipses will go together through time. Next. And I a little bit explain the zone of the table again. Next, please. That's the entrance to the table of eclipses and how the table of constellation is fusion with this table to understand also the corrections. Everything is tied together. Taking the studies of Bricker and Bricker, which also are they give on their monumental book of astronomy in the Mayan codexes. explain about this table and how this correction could be made. Next. So what is the context? Just getting into the final part. What is the context, what we find here? We see geometry, directions and colors, a sacred calendar and a solar working as wheels, eclipses, Venus, year bears, it's a counting of years in the Mesoamerica also, and constellations. So imagine big wheels working together, all tied up. Next. These are some pages of this codex, all together tied up with a green cord. So we find the stars, constellations, the planets, and the solar calendar, everything running together. So that's how they understand it, that's how they write it. Next. Conclusions. Let me see if I can read. Eclipses were part of the mechanism of their gear and calendaric wheels. It is a sidereal calendar. It was a closed model, so they must have understood, known, and record the equinoctial precession movement, which remain alive in their calendars, ceremonies, and traditions, well into the colonial period. The next one. Since the early stages of Mesoamerica development, a model for political power emerged based on astro calendars, a model that can be called cosmopolitical order to maintain legitimacy. This model has based on their calendars. Understanding this is crucial if we want to comprehend the ancient people that live in the ancient Americas. Okay? Thank you. My last part, which is my book on this work. Two more, please. It's the webpage. I wrote a book. It's called El Gran Libro de las Constelaciones Mayas. There is the work that explains this and how this, the deep explanation on my proposal on the Book of Constellations. That's my webpage. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Antonio. Thank you for having you here today and being a part of the Eclipse and this broadcast. I will let Olinka talk a little bit about his explanation of the calendars. It's very interesting for most of us. I'm speech, and so developing and learning more about the Mayan calendars and learning about it has 260 days and how they figure the 365 days of the other calendar and the explanation of how it cyclically goes to understand. It's very complex. Would you like it?
Yeah, thank you, Antonio, for explaining all that. And just let me briefly read all your biography so the people can know more about you.
Thank you.
So I will do it first in Spanish, and then we're gonna do it in English. So Antonio Gómez Miranda ingresó al Seminario de Archeoastronomía de la Escuela Nacional de Antropología e Historia en el año de 2006. 1996. Fue miembro fundador del CEACM, Centro de Estudios para la Arqueoastronomía y Calendárica Mesoamericana, donde se publicaron varios libros de investigadores independientes y se realizaron 2 documentales. Es miembro fundador de la recién formada Sociedad de Astronomía Cultural y Estudios Mesoamericanos, CACEM. Ha escrito 2 libros, El Universo en 20 símbolos y El Gran Libro de las Constelaciones Mayas. Ha impartido distintas ponencias acerca de calendario y arqueoastronomía mesoamericana. Now, yes. Patsy will do it in English.
Yes. So he entered, Mr. Antonio Gómez Miranda, entered the Archeoastronomy seminar in the National School of Anthropology and History in Mexico City in 1996. He's also one of the, in 2006, one of the founding members of the Center of Studies in Mesoamerican Archeoastronomy and Calendaric Studies, and he's written several books and done several seminars. He's also one of the founding members for the Society of Cultural Archeoastronomy and Mesoamerican Studies. He wrote 2 books, one of which she talked about, the El Universo en 20 símbolos, translation of the title, The Universe in 20 Symbols, and the great book of the Mayan constellations. He's given several talks in Mesoamerican calendar, and I believe he's visited us before here in El Paso. Now, Mr. Miranda, where can we purchase your books, or if people are interested in learning more about your book, can they find it on Amazon? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
This one, the El Universo en 20 símbolos, it is in Amazon.
Okay.
So you can see it over there. Now, in my webpage, I go through the other book, but the other one is not published yet because it's new.
Okay.
But soon it's going to be also to the public.
Okay, maybe at the end we can put the website so that people that are watching our live feed about the eclipse can learn more about the wonderful information you just shared about the calendars, the constellations, and your work that you've done.
Thank you. And also on the webpage you can find my contact, so if anyone can ask me questions, I will be glad to assist.
Yes, thank you. The information is something, I mean, there's so much different information that I'm sure people like me do not understand, but maybe reading your book, going to your website, and sharing some of the information. I like what you talked about, the cave in Morelos. Where exactly in Morelos is that cave?
Xochicalco is called the archaeological site. It's in Xochicalco. It's very close to Cuernavaca.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now we will move to the Flexitorium here at Mission del Paso campus, where Brian Kahn and Daniel Lobas will be talking about solar protection. Are you ready over there, guys? Just some technical issues. Just hold on a little bit, please. Okay, so we have now the presentation from Texas Tech University about total solar eclipse, and what is important and why it's important to wear properly the sunglasses. Yes. Brian, are you ready over there? Just some technical issues maybe over there at the Flexitorium. Flexitorium.
Que si puede hacerlo bien. con voz, con
All throughout the backside of the eye, we have a layer called the retina. That's what causes your brain to be able to interpret visual information. That has all the neuroreceptors, and the focal point
It's not
on the
sure.
retina is the macula. All this information is transferred along the optic nerve next to the artery and veins to supply information to your brain. On the right image, we have a picture of accessory glands that are keeping the cortex. The lacrimal gland makes the nucleus cortex tears when you're crying, when also to protect your
This is
tear
not
film.
going through
The
Teams, no?
meibomian glands below make
Was this supposed to
oil,
come through Teams?
lipid layer. Again, this is protecting you from dry
then
eyes.
there's a problem with sharing.
On the next slide, we have
Yes, the sharing.
another heavy section from above.
Teams.
So looking down into the eye, you see the anterior chamber where along the yellow lines you see the path of fluid. Basically, there's fluid that's created in the anterior chamber of the eye. What's made has to come out. It's a constant cycle. And you must have these drainage pipes open to help you drain your eye. Now on the right, we have an image of the retina, and on the very far right, you can see the layers of the cells that interpret visual information into electrical stimuli for the brain. Next slide, general eye vision terms. You guys may have heard of nearsightedness. We call that myopia. Generally, the eye is too long. If you look at the image at the top, myopia, the eye is too long. The focal plane is not on the macula at the back of the retina. Therefore, your vision is cloudy. So we could give you a diverging lens, diverge the light, and reconverge it onto the macula so you can see clearly. Opposite, we have things known as farsightedness, where you can see things far but not close. That's called hyperopia. Usually the eye is too short, the focal plane is behind the retina. Therefore, we give you a convex lens to refocus the light onto the macula. Lastly, age-related farsightedness is called presbyopia. That's when you lose flexibility of your lens at the front, decreasing your ability to focus on objects of different length at will.
So let's go ahead and talk about some pathologies that can happen in the eye. So cataract is one of those, and we see this by glaucoma in the eye. And a big cause of that is photooxidative damage, which is caused by the UV radiation from the sun. And it can also be associated with diabetes, and in this case, it would be directly from the sugar damage to the lens. And importantly, this can impact both young and old populations.
Can we try to share it?
Tends to be something like a Seiden's effect, which leads to sugar accumulation and then osmotic damage to the lens. Where in old populations, it's usually going to be oxidative damage, which is caused by UV radiation. Macular degeneration is another eye pathology, and it's actually the leading cause of blindness in individuals over 65 in developing countries. And so what macular degeneration is, it's a degenerative disease of the retina, which impairs central vision. So as you can see in the picture over here at the bottom, you pretty much won't be seeing in your central field of vision, but your peripheral vision will be relatively spared. There's two types, dry macular degeneration and wet macular degeneration. In dry, this tends to be deposition of various waste products which have under the retinal pigmented epithelium, and we call these
I think we got it.
which you can see
For a
right
while.
over here.
Okay.
Wet macular degeneration involves neovascularization, which is just the growing of new blood vessels in the subretinal space. And with that, you tend to get a little bit more of like a bloody background because these vessels aren't that strong. Glaucoma is another eye pathology that can happen, and it's the second leading cause of blindness in the U.S. And so what happens here is that the iris and the cornea, the angle between this becomes relatively small, and so you have fluid in the eye called aqueous humor in the front layer of the eye, which will tend to it gets produced and it has to drain out. But when that angle closes, it tends to accumulate fluid, and then you get a hard red eye, too much pressure in the eye. And this sadly damages the ocular nerve, and it leads to high pressure, which can come with a lot of pain. And with glaucoma, you have kind of the opposite of macular degeneration, where you lose your peripheral vision first, and so you can see that over here. So I just want to quickly go through a couple pathologies. So normal vision, you see just fine. In cataracts, you tend to see a little bit more blurrier. With myopia, you can't really see the things that are far away. That's nearsightedness. In macular degeneration, you lose your central field of vision. In glaucoma, you lose your peripheral field of vision. In diabetic retinopathy, I haven't covered that, but this is kind of like you get a spotty visual field. With eye floaters, these will just tend to kind of get in the way of your vision and they move with your vision as you look at other things. Retinitis pigmentosa is a congenital disease, which happens typically when you're born, but this just is kind of similar to a presentation of glaucoma in terms of the visual field. And in total blindness, you're not really going to see much of anything. But
Can
can
you
sometimes
speak
see a little bit,
louder,
but it
please?
tends to be relatively dark. So I'm going to let Brian cover a little bit about the eclipse now.
All right, what we're here for today is observing the solar eclipse. It's a very cool event, and here we see the line of the path of totality through Texas, the Midwest, and the Northeast. All right, on the next slide. So what's the big deal with the solar eclipse? Well, again, this is a cool event. It doesn't happen every day. Rather, it happens a very long time. Usually, people call this a once-in-a-lifetime event. We'll have to wait more than 20 years before we see the next one. Next one's scheduled for August 23rd, 2044. And this is a very important event. A lot of people came out, made travel plans to get along the line of totality or find better weather to take a look at this event. However, El Paso is outside the path of totality, so that's why it's very important. We're here to talk to you about some eye safety things. So, not fake news. Last time in 2017, the news outlets got on to previous President Donald J. Trump for looking at the solar eclipse. Fortunately, it doesn't seem like he has any eye damage, but you and I don't have doctors as well as the one in Bethesda, Maryland at Walter Reed. If any of y'all become president, Daniel and I will happily apply for that position. Anyway, so back to real news. Remember, high-risk patients, these are populations that we want to target. Children, elderly, mentally challenged, homeless. There are people that are more at risk to solar damage to the eyes, and this is why we're out here today, to raise public awareness through educational campaigns, and we're very happy to have you guys with us. Next slide, we're going to talk about eye protection. So, these solar eclipse glasses, why can't you just use normal sunglasses? Normal sunglasses are not sufficient to look directly at the sun. In fact, minimally, these solar eclipse glasses are about 1,000 times darker than any average sunglasses that you can find. Therefore, you have to look for specific eclipse glasses. AAS, the American Astronomical Society, recommends the certification and standard ISO 12312-2. You want to commit that number in memory? Make sure your solar eclipse glasses have those. There are approved manufacturers, and the ones given out today are vetted through AAS. And just general knowledge, you want to inspect for damage and make sure the lenses are still intact before you observe the sun. Moving on. So how does this damage occur? As Daniel mentioned earlier, most of it is photooxidative damage. And as you guys are physics students, you'll understand the wavelengths of light. We're mainly concerned with the ultraviolet spectrum. UVC, the high frequency, low wavelength, those are usually blocked by the atmosphere. We're okay there. However, the second highest frequency, the UVB rays, those only penetrate through our lens. What we're really concerned about is damage that gets to the back of your eye towards the retina. Those UVA spectrum, we have a vulnerability in our human biology. These light rays are able to penetrate through the lens to the back of our retina. And again, here's another image showing you in color visible light making it all the way back to the retina, which is why we can see in the visible light spectrum, but also those harmful UVA rays that we need to watch out for. And next slide, we'll have Daniel explain the damage.
So solar keratitis, I like to call it damage in the front because that's where the damage is happening when you talk about solar keratitis. So what is this? This is damage in the front of the eye that happens with too much exposure to sunlight or UV damage, like is typically that UVB wavelength. So what are some symptoms of solar keratitis? This could be eye pain, foreign body sensation, a decrease in vision, excessive tearing, as well as light sensitivity. So as far as the damage to the outer layer of the eye, which happens from solar keratitis, will heal on its own, usually within 72 hours. But there's still some treatment options, which include topical ointments, artificial tears, pain medication, antibiotics. And if you wear any contact lenses, you'd want to avoid wearing them and leave time for the eye to heal, as well as also cool compresses can help. Now, more importantly, solar retinal damage, or as I like to call it, damage in the back. This is damage in the back of the eye, right? So importantly, the retina, which is at the back of the eye, absorbs light and it converts it into electrical signals, which eventually create the images that our brain sees. So the retina isn't designed to look at extremely bright objects. And so what happens when you look at something that's too bright, something a little tiny burn in the center of the macula can happen. And it's pretty similar to almost like if you use a magnifying glass to like burn something by like magnifying the power of the sunlight. And so it's important to know that like immediately following this, you'll probably develop a central blind spot, which will decrease your central vision. And there's a small central macular yellow spot, which is found in the eye that looks too much at the sun. And it'll leave a tiny central macular scar, which can be permanent. So how exactly does this damage occur? Well, it's in this case, it's the UVC wavelength that gets all the way to the back of the eye, and it damages the retinal pigmented epithelium, the cells that are sending the electrical signals to your brain, which eventually becomes what we see. And so it burns like a tiny hole there, which becomes permanent. And then importantly, there's no pain receptors there. So you don't really know that this damage is happening until it's too late.
All right, so moving on to continue to talk about the anatomy of the retina, in this case related to solar retinopathy. What your eye doctor will see is through a slit lamp at the top right image, they can see the color definition of your eye. They can look at the optic nerve, the vessels, and look at the macula to look for any superficial damage. But they'd also use the ocular CTs, which is like a computed X-ray, to actually look at the black and white images to look for more damage, fibrosis, any scarring, basically any abnormality related to your photoreceptors at that macula. Moving on to the next slide, the mechanism of injury. Solar radiation is the cause of retinal damage. It's the phototoxicity. This UV light is toxic to your eye, and it will damage the cells in your retina. And again, this damage hopefully is just temporary, but it can be permanent. And importantly, there is no warning mechanism of pain. You do not have pain receptors, so you cannot rely on pain to tell you to look away. And this damage will occur in a few hours, a few days, and it'll progress over months. And finally, after a few months, it will settle to whatever permanent damage you will have. And as Daniel has mentioned before, there is no treatment. It's only supportive care. Moving on. So what symptoms do we see for solar retinal damage? At the top left, we see the image of the child. You see the distortion in the center of the vision at the macula. You may even have a scotoma, where you start to have a black spot in the middle of your vision. So this becomes a blind spot that you'll just have to look around. It's a very similar presentation to what we were talking about earlier with macular degeneration. Next slide, treatment options. Again, no treatment for solar retinopathy. Some cases, low vision is just a necessary evil of what will go on. Many people recover after 3 to 6 months, but again, some suffer permanent vision loss. And all that we can really advise is supportive care. We're just going to tell you have to rest your eyes, avoid looking at the sun. That's all you can really do, and you just hope the body repairs itself naturally. Moving on, other UV-related eye complications. So on the left, we have a symblepharon. That's with this superficial layer behind your eyelid that spreads up towards the white part of your eyes and the surface. You'll get these adhesions, and sometimes they'll start to occlude your visual field. On the right, we see the image of cataract clouding. Again, we've talked about that earlier with UV oxidative damage.
So what are the risk factors, right? I could pretty much just say don't look at the sun without your glasses. That would pretty much sum it up. Glimpsing at the solar eclipse for just 20 seconds can unfortunately cause some pretty permanent eye damage. So we have the partial eclipse and the total eclipse up here. So there's technically roughly a 3 to 4 minute window where there's a total eclipse. And in that case, you technically wouldn't have to wear the glasses to look at that. But in El Paso here, we're not going to see that. So if you're looking at the sun, make sure you're wearing your glasses the whole time. You can only take them off if you're going to look at the NASA broadcast, for instance, during that total eclipse time. So as far as prevention, I have a lot of details here, but I really just want to sum it up. So just make sure that when you're using your glasses, they're not like, there's no holes in them, or there's no like scratches in them. And you should know that they're working. Is if you put them on, you shouldn't really be able to see anything in front of you when you have the glasses. It's extremely dark. It's over 1,000 times darker than your typical sunglasses. So once again, the only time you should be looking at the sun without the solar viewers is during the total eclipse, which will not be happening over here in El Paso. We'll just see partial things, so make sure you have them on the whole time. And I just want to emphasize that pain is not a reliable protective mechanism. The retina does not have pain receptors. So once again, so ordinary sunglasses are not strong enough to protect your eyes. And the solar eclipse viewing glasses, like I said, they're over 1,000 times darker. And also, if you were to use something like a telescope or binoculars to look at the eclipse, that's also not really very safe. Even interestingly, like if you were to use a telescope and you had your solar viewing glasses on, that's not considered safe, because what happens when you look through the telescope, it can magnify the wavelength of the UV light, and that can actually penetrate through your glasses and damage your eyes. So make sure that if you want to look at the sun with a telescope like the one out there, it already has it. You need to make sure that you have a filter on the outside part of it. So same thing with like a camera, or if you're like taking a picture, obviously you want to have your sunglasses on, because the light can just go around your phone. And yeah, just make sure that you're wearing your glasses or using a filter on your devices, because they block out between 0.001% and 0.00005% of the visible light. So yeah, once again, I just want to make sure that you know that ISO 12312-2 certification on the solar eclipse viewing glasses. There are some people that make fakes out there, but if you see that certification, then you know that you're wearing the right things, and they're over 1,000 times darker.
So lastly, remember, when you're looking through objectives, make sure you have that solar filter in front of the objective on any optical device. And a quick check is that when you put on these solar eclipse glasses and you look outside in the bright sun, you should not see anything in front of you, no objects, medium, far, or close. Only until you turn your head towards the sky, look towards the sun, can you see anything through the solar eclipse glasses. That's a little simple rule to double check if they work. And obviously what we mentioned earlier, check for cracks and damage on the glasses. Moving on to our conclusion. Today, April 8th, considered a once-in-a-lifetime event for many people at the total solar eclipse. Even when it's partially eclipsed, you can have permanent damage to your vision or have blindness as a consequence. So make sure you use your safety equipment. Preparation by coming to this event and bringing your kids and educating them, providing them with these solar eclipse glasses is the best way to prevent damage. UV keratitis, remember, that's damage in the cornea. That's at the front of the eye. That's one that's painful. Solar retinopathy, damage to the back of the eye. That is not painful, and that's what gives you permanent blindness. Prevention is crucial. And if you so feel any damage to your eye, any changes in vision, early diagnosis and management are essential for optimal outcomes. We want to thank you for attending this presentation. Here's a quick post survey to help keep events like this possible in the future to show your engagement. It's a purely voluntary survey. However, Daniel and I would really appreciate it if you can do it. And we just like for you to thank Texas Tech for sponsoring this event, to be able to come out, especially El Paso Community College with their efforts of hosting this, Dr. Olienka de la Fernandez and Dr. John Ogan for making this event possible and giving us a space to all enjoy this safely. If you have any other questions, Daniel and I will be outside at the Texas Tech tent. We're happy to talk to any of y'all if you're interested on a career path in medicine. And there will also be a raffle outside for a laptop. Just show them your completed post survey, but it's not required for it. Thank you very much. We'll be passing out post surveys in paper and on QR code.
Okay, thank you very much, Brian, Daniel, for your very interesting, and for sure everybody needs to know this information to avoid any damage to their eyes. Do you want to comment something?
Yes, thank you for the precautions. As we enjoy the eclipse, it's always important for our audience, students, faculty, staff, and those that are wanting to enjoy the eclipse that they do take these precautions. And please do visit them at their tent. Thank you, Texas Tech, for being a part of this project.
It's just a camera. No, just a camera.
I want to take the opportunity also right now to thank everyone that is making this event possible. And, you know, physics faculty, Allison Bruce, Dr. Eber Hernandez Martinez, Sukaima El Omari, Dr. Tarek Alaholim, Edwin Nájera, and Joshua Grajeda. And the organizers of this event, Dr. John Olguin, who's a professor here at EPCC, a proud graduate of UTEP, Dr. Olinka de la O, professor here and district-wide coordinator for the physics and astronomy program here at EPCC, and district-wide coordinator. She teaches also at VV. John teaches at Trans Mountain Campus. Dr. Edith Aguirre, mathematics, thank you for being a part of this event and helping with the organization. Dolores Clancy. And Dolores Clancy is part of the lab management here at Misión del Paso. And Evelyn Maldonado, who is part of the Gene Roddenberry Planetarium and the director of the planetarium, who will be later on here today. Anthony Gomez, Antonio Gomez Miranda, who is part of the ENA Mexico, who we just heard speaking. He is was one of our guest speakers today. And volunteers, Ms. Mercedes Ulloa, Manager Susan Aranda, and Dr. Giovanni Ramirez. Special thanks to the Dean, Joshua Villalobos, here at Mission El Paso, and James Heine, Marketing Specialist, for televising and allowing us to have it at this campus. EPCC TV, who's making this possible through the air transmission. Marco Lara, media producer. Jaime Gandara, media producer and a production technician. Carol Barkin, media producer. Your proud volunteer, Patricia Islas, with Speech and Service Learning Program. Nadia Rivera with Student Government Association, Media Services Center, and Instructional Service Center. Thank you to everyone for making this event possible and everyone being able to view the eclipse today.
Well, right now we will be moving with Dr. John Olguin, that he will be explaining a little bit about the GLOW program that we have, or that NASA has already, and he will be also explaining and giving the training to all the people that is here at our Mission del Paso campus as well. We will watch right now some of the videos that he prepared for all of you, and to know a little bit more about how to observe GLOW with eclipses. But guys, the Flexitorium, can you please mute yourselves?
That's yours? Yeah, everything. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. They left right away.
connection to the internet and access to email in order to set up an account. So you should plan to do this step before the day of the eclipse. Complete the brief in-app tutorials for land cover and clouds. Don't worry if the Eclipse tool isn't visible in the app yet. It will appear closer to the eclipse. Next, find a thermometer that you can use to measure air temperature at your precise location. Remember, the temperature in your weather app is from a weather station that may be far away. You can check the accuracy of your thermometer by putting the probe in an ice bath. After 10 minutes, the thermometer should read between plus or minus 0.5 degrees Celsius. On the day of the eclipse, plan to take observations for an hour or two before and after the eclipse. The longer that you take measurements, the easier it will be to see changes in the air temperature. Be sure to pack everything you need to be safe and comfortable during the eclipse. Look for an area with a clear view of the sky, while being cautious of uneven ground, moving vehicles, and other hazards. Once you're set up, launch the Globe Observer app and open the Eclipse tool. You'll start by choosing between Celsius and Fahrenheit and selecting the type of thermometer that you will be using. Next, use the land cover tool to document your observation site. You will take photos in each direction, as well as up and down. Include your thermometer in one of your photos. Enter your first temperature measurement and observe the sky using the Clouds tool. The app will prompt you to take temperature measurements every 5 to 10 minutes leading up to and after the eclipse. If you notice any changes in the clouds, use the Clouds tool to document these changes. Feel free to add captions to your photos with observations of the wind, animal behavior, and any other changes that you experience. Now you're all set to observe the eclipse. Remember to take a break during maximum eclipse to enjoy this incredible experience. Learn more at observer.globe.gov/eclipse and download the Globe Observer app from the Apple App Store or Google Play.
Ready to start the NASA Globe training with John Holguin. John, are you ready for the training for all our participants here and maybe at home that wants to join the NASA Globe program where, as John will explain in a little bit, you can download the app and maybe take some pictures of the clouds and record the temperature and send all your information to the NASA databases, where later scientists will be using that information to a lot of different research that will be very, very important to understand a little bit more about our atmosphere and how and what is happening during eclipses events. John, are you ready to start the transmission? John, I cannot hear you.
Olinka, as John is trying to log in and set up for the NASA Global Training, can you tell us a little bit about the program? It's an exoplanet exploration program. Okay.
Okay, are you ready, John? We can hear you now. We are hearing you now, John.
So what we're going to do is we're going to switch over. So one of the things that after I just give you some of these, show you these tips, what we're going to do is we're actually going to take some really cool observation data. So hopefully you guys can see me. Can you guys see me?
Yes, I can see you now. So do you want me? I will share your screen. Just everybody can see you and can.
Awesome. All right, appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, it's great. So what we're going to do is, hopefully I can, I know we have a lot of people out here, so I'm going to twist my camera a little bit to the side. Hopefully you guys can see it that way.
Yes.
So we have Adriana Perez. Can you guys see her? Can you guys see her? Okay, hopefully. So what we're going to do is she's going to be taking the show us some demonstrations on how to take a look at the temperature. Now, what we have here is the best thing to do is when you try to collect air temperature data, and you guys are gonna watch that video again, the one where I actually kind of go into detail. But since we're outside, one of the great things you can actually do is get a thermometer like this and actually go to a tree, any tree that has some shade, and hang it there, and so that you can actually then record that temperature accurately. What you want to do is you want to be able to basically look at the temperature gauge, let it set outside for about 3 minutes, then come back to the temperature gauge and then read the temperature. When you're using the Globe Observer app, you'll be able to then record that temperature data, and every 10 minutes, once you start engaging with NASA, they're going to be asking you for that temperature information. Those training videos, and then I guess we'll see you on the flip side.
Okay. Let us know as soon as you want us to bring back the cameras to you, okay? Just to show the public what you are doing, all of the measurements.
Actually, you know what? Just go straight to the videos and go ahead and play it. We'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much. So then now let me share with you guys the videos, what John was mentioning.
With just your smartphone and a thermometer, you can help contribute to our understanding of how the eclipse affects our atmosphere. Even if you will only experience a partial eclipse from your location, your observations are still valuable. Start by downloading the Globe Observer app. You will need a connection to the internet and access to email in order to set up an account. So you should plan to do this step before the day of the eclipse. Complete the brief in-app tutorials for land cover and clouds. Don't worry if the eclipse tool isn't visible in the app yet. It will appear closer to the eclipse. Next, find a thermometer that you can use to measure air temperature at your precise location. Remember, the temperature in your weather app is from a weather station that may be far away. You can check the accuracy of your thermometer by putting the probe in an ice bath. After 10 minutes, the thermometer should read between plus or minus 0.5 degrees Celsius. On the day of the eclipse, plan to take observations for an hour or two before and after the eclipse. The longer that you take measurements, the easier it will be to see changes in the air temperature. Be sure to pack everything you need to be safe and comfortable during the eclipse. Look for an area with a clear view of the sky, while being cautious of uneven ground, moving vehicles, and other hazards. Once you're set up, launch the Globe Observer app and open the Eclipse tool. You'll start by choosing between Celsius and Fahrenheit and selecting the type of thermometer that you will be using. Next, use the land cover tool to document your observation site. You will take photos in each direction, as well as up and down. Include your thermometer in one of your photos. Enter your first temperature measurement and observe the sky using the Clouds tool. The app will prompt you to take temperature measurements every 5 to 10 minutes leading up to and after the eclipse. If you notice any changes in the clouds, use the Clouds tool to document these changes. Feel free to add captions to your photos with observations of the wind, animal behavior, and any other changes that you experience. Now you're all set to observe the eclipse. Remember to take a break during maximum eclipse to enjoy this incredible experience. Learn more at observer.globe.gov/eclipse and download the Globe Observer app from the Apple App Store or Google Play.
¿Estás planeando ver el eclipse? Con solo tu teléfono móvil y un termómetro puedes contribuir a nuestro conocimiento de cómo un eclipse afecta nuestra atmósfera. Incluso si vas a presenciar un eclipse parcial desde tu ubicación, tus observaciones siguen siendo valiosas. Comienza descargando la aplicación móvil Globe Observer. Necesitarás una conexión de Internet y acceso a tu correo electrónico para poder configurar una cuenta, por lo que debes de hacer este paso antes del día del eclipse. Completa los breves tutoriales en la aplicación Globe Observer sobre cobertura terrestre y nubes. No te preocupes si la herramienta Eclipse aún no está visible en la aplicación. Aparecerá un poco antes del día del eclipse. Luego, busca un termómetro que puedas utilizar para medir la temperatura del aire en tu ubicación precisa. Recuerda, la temperatura que obtienes en aplicaciones sobre el tiempo proviene de una estación meteorológica que puede estar muy lejos de ti. Puedes verificar la precisión de tu termómetro colocando la sonda en un baño de hielo. Después de 10 minutos, el termómetro debe marcar entre más o menos 0.5 grados Celsius. El día del eclipse, planifica realizar observaciones 1 o 2 horas antes y después del eclipse. Mientras más medidas tomes, más fácil será ver los cambios en la temperatura del aire. Asegúrate de empacar todo lo que necesitas para estar seguro y cómodo durante el eclipse. Busca un área con una vista despejada del cielo, teniendo cuidado con cualquier terreno irregular, vehículos en movimiento y otros peligros. Ya cuando estés listo, inicia la aplicación móvil Globe Observer y abre la herramienta Eclipse. Comenzarás eligiendo entre Celsius y Fahrenheit y seleccionando el tipo de termómetro que usarás. Luego la herramienta Land Cover para documentar tu ubicación de observación. Tomarás fotografías en cada dirección, así como hacia arriba y hacia abajo. Incluye tu termómetro en una de tus fotos. Ingresa tu primera medición de temperatura y observa el cielo usando la herramienta Nubes. La aplicación te pedirá que tomes medidas de temperatura cada 5 a 10 minutos antes y después del eclipse. Si notas algún cambio en las nubes, utiliza la herramienta Nubes para documentar estos cambios. También puedes añadir comentarios a tus fotos sobre observaciones del viento, comportamientos de los animales y cualquier otro cambio que experimentes. Ahora estás listo para observar el eclipse. Recuerda tomar un descanso durante el eclipse máximo para disfrutar de esta increíble experiencia. Aprende más visitando observer.globe.gov/Eclipse y descarga la aplicación móvil Globe Observer desde la tienda de aplicaciones de Apple o Google Play.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here to watch with us the Eclipse at El Paso Community College. With me today is Ms. Evelyn Maldonado with the Roddenberry Planetarium.
Yes, hi everyone.
Thank you for being here today in this televised promotion for the Eclipse. And thank you especially to the collaborators and coordinators for the event, Dr. Olinka de la O, who teaches here at EPCC, Physics and Astronomy, and has made this possible, also with Dr. John Olguin, also a professor of physics and astronomy at the Trans Mountain campus. So thank you and welcome to this event. We will be observing, I think that now we can observe the eclipse, and we'll be following along with John and Olinka. Can you hear us, John and Olinka? So a little bit about the program that we're going to be doing, the NASA Global Observer Training, and why we're involved with the project. Of course, Ms. Evelyn Maldonado, who is part of the planetarium and works closely with Dr. De La O and Dr. John Olguin in making this collaboration possible, not only for the community and for students here at EPCC. I am Patricia Islas, and I teach speech, but I'm also involved with the service learning program. and the NASA Global Observer is one of the service learning projects that John Olguin and Olinka have been working for a couple of years, giving students the opportunity to engage and learn about the NASA Planet Exploration Program, which gives an opportunity to take video and pictures about the solar system and being able to send the information so NASA can be able to look at the information and use it as part of their collective data. And so one of the important aspects of learning about the eclipse is engaging not only the community, but everyone in general to learn about the intricate system of our solar system. And Evelyn will tell you a little bit about the eclipse today.
Yes, so we are very happy to be here, very excited to be part of this outreach. And, you know, reaching out to our community, it is something really impressive that we're seeing here today, very beautiful event, and that really unites us all. It's very special that we get to observe an eclipse here in El Paso. We are unfortunately not in the path of totality, but that doesn't mean that we don't get a great show. In fact, I don't know if you've noticed, Ms. Islas, but here next to us we have a couple of shadows, and on our windows we're actually able to see the solar eclipse happening. So needless to say, if you do not have any solar eclipse glasses, that is not necessary. You can actually just go outside and create some shadows with your hands, with a colander. You're actually going to be able to see the shadow of the solar eclipse happening right now. So that is something really impressive.
That is great. Now, can you tell us a little bit about the difference of the lunar and the solar eclipse? The lunar eclipse that happened last year in 2023 and this one. Maybe many of us that are not science majors or do not know a lot about the science but want to enjoy the eclipse. What is the difference between these two eclipses?
So a lunar eclipse happens when we have the sun, the earth, and the moon lined up. So at this point, the Earth is actually covering up the sun and casting a shadow onto the moon. This is where we get the lunar eclipses. And lunar eclipses are often called the blood moons. I love to explain this to the students who visit the planetarium. Doesn't mean that the moon physically turned red or it's covered in blood. It actually means that the light just bends, and the way it reaches our eyes is in the form of the color red. So we get to see something pretty spectacular. Now, solar eclipses actually happen when we have the Earth, moon, and sun lined up. So the moon is now in the middle, and the moon is covering up the sun. It's casting a shadow onto the Earth. And so the people who are in the path of the shadow get to see a solar eclipse. Now, of course, you know that there's a big difference, right? Whether you are in the path of totality or you're not. In this case, we have people in, I believe, Dallas and Austin in the path of totality. They get to see a wonderful show. They get to see pretty much nighttime during the daytime, which is something pretty spectacular. And here in El Paso, we actually get to see an eclipse as well. However, we are not in totality. So here in El Paso, we will actually get to see about 88% coverage. Still, such a beautiful and impressive event.
So I was just watching in CNN earlier that there's people all over I-10 and I-20 watching the solar eclipse in the areas that there will be total totality.
Yes.
And so it's an excellent, but if we're getting 80%, that's still a great view of the eclipse here locally. What are some of the reasons why you would want to engage the community in watching something so marvelous that we won't get to see? I heard on CNN, also on NPR this morning, that it'll be 20 years before we see the next solar eclipse. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. And you know what? I think it's just something, nature unites us all. Definitely, I think that is the case. And this is something that we don't get to see really often. Why is that? Well, 70% of Earth is covered in water, right? And so a lot of the solar eclipses that are happening throughout the years, the path of totality are landing in the middle of the ocean when not a lot of us can.
That is very
see it.
interesting. I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
for those viewers and for the community that's listening, and students and faculty and stuff may not be aware that that's a reason why we don't see different or as many solar eclipses, because they fall in the water.
Right, that is correct, in unpopulated areas. And so when we get to see a solar eclipse and the path of totality is near us, that's definitely a showstopper. And
right.
it's definitely something everyone wants to, or at least I would hope that they would want to try and be a part of. I mean, it is just beyond amazing the things that happen while we're having an eclipse. I did notice you guys were already talking a little bit about temperature.
I was just going to ask that John, Dr. Holguin and Dr. Perez were talking about one thing. I had a question about the thermometer, going to be any thermometer, and also about the temperature. Why is there a change in temperature when the solar eclipse is happening?
Right, yeah, we actually see a decrease in temperature, and it's pretty impressive. Not only that, but those people who are in the path of totality get to hear the animals react to the eclipse.
Oh, wow.
So at a certain point, animals start thinking that, wait a minute, it's getting pretty dark here. It must be nighttime. And once the eclipse actually passes or is done, they react, and it's kind of like if they're waking up all over again.
Oh, wow.
So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful experience.
What about the animals that are night animals? How
You
does
know
that?
what? That is a great question.
That may come out, during the night. So, does that? It also affects the animals that are night animals.
Definitely. Everyone is definitely impacted by such a wonderful natural event. Yeah.
Thank you for all the information. I don't know if they're ready to transmit. Yes, is Olenka and John ready?
Ask them if they're ready.
Olenka, are you all ready for the transmission? We are at. As we're waiting for Dr. Delao and Dr. Holguin to come on transmission, can you tell us a little bit, Evelyn, about the Rodenberg Planetarium? I know as a child, I used to go to a planetarium that was located on Boeing, but now it's located in a different, in a different part of the city. And can you tell us about the planetarium, who can visit, and what are some of the exciting events that you have coming up that people may also enjoy as we're talking about the eclipse, that they can learn more about? And it's also educational, and it's a great experience for the whole community, not only for children or students, but for everyone in our community.
Right, absolutely. So the Roddenberry Planetarium is proudly a part of El Paso Independent School District. We actually serve all of the students in the El Paso Independent School District community, but we also serve all of the students in the El Paso community. So we are actually open for field trips for any school in the El Paso region who would want to visit. Not only that, but during the summers in the month of June and July, we're actually open for the public.
Oh, wow.
Can I tell you about the best part about this is?
Yes, please do.
It is 100% free of charge.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And now my interest is, are there opportunities for our college students, our EPCC students, not only to go, but to participate or give their time and volunteer and learn more if they're interested in astronomy or physics or a related area?
Yes, absolutely. We actually have a volunteer program over at the planetarium, And we're very proud of it. We have a lot of students from EPCC, from UTEP who come and volunteer, and they help us out with outreach for our community. It is actually a great place to be, and we have a lot of field trips going on. So one of the things that I do love to tell people is during the school year, we are open Monday through Friday, but we are only open for school field trips. So we actually see about 300 students every day, Monday through Friday. And these are all El Paso students.
Wow. That is a great piece of information, but also that is wonderful how you impact the community, seeing 300 students a day. Is that just from the El Paso district or all school districts?
All over El Paso.
Oh,
so
wow.
We actually are very fortunate to be able to welcome, again, for free, our students from Socorro, Isleta, El Paso, Clint, Canutillo. I mean, you name it, we've seen them. And it's always a great pleasure to have students with us. Whenever they do go and visit, they actually get to learn whatever is that they're learning astronomy-wise on their TEKs. So these are actually 100% educative field trips. And so we actually cater it to what the students will be seeing on their STAR test the day that they visit.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So it's a great way to connect not only, their curriculum, but also what they'll be testing on with their state exams. So this is a great opportunity for them to learn and make that connection. Now, Evelyn, what is your area of expertise or your background, and why, why the planetarium? Why did you choose to work for the planetarium? What is your background or
So that's
passion?
a very interesting question. I was always just mesmerized and amazed with astronomy. However, my bachelor's is actually in biology.
Oh, wow.
And I graduated from UTEP as a math scholar. So I actually did my major in biology and my minor in education. I became a physics and chemistry teacher for Burgess High School. And after that, I saw the position open at the planetarium. And I said, I am going to try it out. I mean, it's just, I've always loved astronomy. I've always loved science. And when I saw the position, I thought, wow, this is a 1 in a million opportunity. So surely I applied and got the position. I did forget to say that I do also have a master's in geology. So love science, and I love connecting everything. I mean, we have astrobiology, geology is a big part of astronomy as well. And I mean, with all of this, exploration that we are trying to achieve with NASA and Artemis, and I mean, wow, who does not dream about just learning about everything regarding our space? It's wonderful.
What a dynamic and interdisciplinary, areas that you have the opportunity to engage and learn about and experience, of course, right? Teaching, since I also teach, right? It's a great way for our students to learn that when we put, that experiential learning and, our bringing our learning to life gives us an opportunity to learn different areas. And so we may think we're going to go into one field, but learning about other areas may create those interests and passion, like yourself. Thank you, Evelyn, for sharing that for our students.
Absolutely. Not only that, but being able to inspire our students from the El Paso region into reaching for the stars, literally, is just one of the most amazing things that I get to do at the planetarium. I mean, it is really, truly a unique experience to be able to visit the planetarium, and also the fact that El Paso has one, and it's actually the closest one. I mean, we are the only city that has a planetarium, and then you actually have to travel for about 3 to 4 hours to get to another planetarium around the area.
Oh, wow.
So very fortunate to be able to provide that service and to be able to provide it for free.
Oh, well, that's awesome. So can you tell us some of the events that you have coming up this month that you can share as we wait for John and Olinka to come on and share their information in their live feed?
Yes, absolutely. So at this moment, because our kiddos are still in school, we are actually only focusing on our field trips for our kiddos. We're closing out the school year with field trips every single day. However, we're actually working right now to get our summer programs prepared. And our summer programs are open for the public. So we actually have about 3 to 4 summer shows every day, Monday through Thursday. And they are completely free of charge, one more time. And we actually are going to incorporate a show in Spanish. So fully in Spanish, so that our people, our community that only speaks Spanish here in El Paso can be able to go to the planetarium and enjoy a show.
Oh, that is wonderful. Now, Evelyn, where can our community and not only our community in El Paso and EPCC, where could we find this information? Is it just in your website, or do you advertise and promote the event locally through, the news or social media? Where can they find that information about your summer programs that is coming up? It's just still about 2 months away, but time flies quickly, and that way they can make plans to attend some of these events.
Yeah, so we're actually preparing. You actually do see it sometimes in the news. They actually do make a little bit of a advertisement for it. However, we do have all of this information on our website as well as on our social media. So if you are interested in knowing a little bit more about the shows for the planetarium that will be coming up in the summer for the public, you can follow us on Facebook, or you can look us up on the planetarium's website. And the planetarium website is actually housed within EPISD's main website, so it's actually really easy to spot. It is episd.org/planetarium.
And we'll go ahead and include it at the end. I'll make sure that we put the information or pull up the website so that the audience can be able to see and hopefully visit the planetarium, get to have the great experience of learning more about the solar system. Let me see if Olinka and John are ready to join.
Alrighty, so hey, I think we are seeing the show as good as it's gonna get. What do you think?
I think so too. I'm hoping that we can see the transmission of the camera, so we can see the eclipse. We can see it from the windows here. We are inside. Dr. Olinka de la O and John Olguin are outside. Evelyn enjoying with the rest of EPCC and the community, enjoying the eclipse right now.
Yes, and you know what? We're enjoying it too because we can
Yes.
see it in the shadows on the windows, and it is so beyond beautiful. And so right now what you guys are seeing is you are actually seeing the peak time here in El Paso. So here in El Paso we had 88% coverage, if I am not mistaken. And so right now you're actually getting to see the eclipse at its peak.
Wow.
So such a beautiful, such a wonderful thing to observe, don't you think?
Yes, I'm looking at the live transmission here with the moon and the sun covering, so it looks like 1/8 of the moon. Do you think, Evelyn?
Yeah, I would say so.
And then kind of a shadow that is, can you explain that, Evelyn? What does it mean that it looks like a shadow? Like,
I think that just might be a cloud.
okay, all right. So I was thinking, what is that shadow? So it is just a cloud. Okay, that's good for us to know for people who are not versed in the sciences of the solar planet. It's interesting. So that cloud you see is, that shadow you see is a cloud.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? I am so glad that the skies cleared up just enough because this morning
it was cloudy.
Boy, was I nervous about it. And a lot of campuses started calling me and they started saying, we're outside because they knew it was the beginning of the eclipse. And we have our glasses on, but we cannot see anything. And so I had to explain that, clouds can be a problem when we have a solar eclipse.
That's very good that you mentioned that. I, like many other people who are not, aware of that the clouds could have actually, obstructed the view, right, of the solar eclipse.
Correct. No, but thankfully we were very lucky here today and we were able to see a beautiful solar eclipse just enough and at the perfect time with peak time.
Yes, so the peak time for the solar eclipse was exactly what time? Is it the peak time right now?
11:25.
11:25 was the peak time.
Actually, I'm sorry, 12:25. So
12. So
we're about to be on peak time right now.
All
we have about 4 more minutes.
4 more minutes for the peak time. And what does the peak time mean? Can you explain that to us, Evelyn? What does the peak time, when they say, is that in totality of or what is the difference between the totality and the peak time, explaining in terms of how it is covering the
Right. So that's a great question. Yes, of course. So the people who are in totality, peak time would be totality, right? When the moon completely covers up the sun. For us here in El Paso, peak time will be the point in which the moon will cover most of the sun.
Okay.
Since we're not in that main path.
Okay.
So in this case, when we see the moon covered about 88%, that is when we have our peak time, which is as much coverage as we're going to get here.
Okay. All right.
So no, I think we're being extremely lucky. And, thankfully those clouds went away for a little bit and we're able to enjoy this. I was actually just outside and wow, there is a crowd.
Yes. I'm glad that people are enjoying the opportunity to see the solar eclipse. I know my son is in high school and I have other, my students were saying that in some of the schools here in El Paso, they were going to have different programs. So the children at the elementaries, high schools, and middle schools would be able to enjoy the eclipse. Some of them will be televising them. Some will actually take and for precautions, I know also some of the parents may be concerned about taking their children outside and not being able to, wear glasses. So many of the elementary schools, was that the case for El Paso District, were going to view the eclipse inside or outside? Was there any mention of that?
Yeah, no, definitely. So I actually sent out the link for this video that we're streaming on right now.
Well, thank you,
to
Evelyn.
our EPISD teachers, so that if they had littles, and
It's harder to
kiddos-
control.
yes,
Their
harder
children
to
don't look
control,
up.
and curiosity always wins with them, right? So if they have very littles, but by littles I mean our pre-K students, our
Yes.
kinders. Definitely, they were encouraged to, of course, have them experience this, but perhaps in using shadows or inside the classroom via this link, this transmission, because we, of course, want them to experience this. And that is the beauty of nature. I feel like that is the beauty of nature, and that is the beauty of technology.
Yes.
We can experience wonderful things, and we can learn tons, and we can be in a nice and safe environment.
Yes. Well, maybe people could just, aim their iPhone or, whatever phone they have to the sky and take a picture without having to look up. What do you think, Evelyn?
So I actually don't think that's going to work. I think that might be kind of hard for the cameras in the cell phones to work. But definitely, solar telescopes are great. And then again, of course, the use of shadows. I am super surprised when I see pictures online. I mostly see pictures of everyone taking those beautiful shadows that are being casted on by trees. And so they look like a million eclipses happening, and they're all on the ground. And I did see outside some of the people that came in and visit, they created their own solar eclipse pinhole projector.
Oh, wow.
So they had a big box, and they were looking at the shadow through the box. And so that was so interesting to see. And it was a showstopper. Everyone wanted to know, what is that guy doing there with that big old box?
So I have seen people try to do it with a box, so it's interesting to know what they were doing to be able to cast that shadow. And it sometimes I've seen people also poke like holes throughout to let the light reflect inside the box. So that's also interesting. Let me see, Olenka was trying to connect and see if they, okay, at Sergio Ramos, okay. Let me go ahead and let's see if we can, for the transmission. All right. See if Sergio Ramos will be, okay. All right. All right, so we are reaching its totality, yes? Let me see.
And I would call it peak. We are reaching the peak right this moment.
Yeah, 12:25, 12:26. Oh, wow. You can see the difference. And the lighting changing also. We can see it here inside the room and be able to see the change in the window, as well as viewing it live, how it's getting darker outside. We'll be able to, okay, all right.
Pregúntale si te oye.
Can you hear me, Stella? ¿Sí me puede oír?
See, I don't know if you need to log in or si estás already logged in.
It's already logged in. Can you hear me, Stella?
Si está, we are here when they told me que no, si estabas aquí cuando vino ella, ¿verdad? Dijo, no, sigan hablando del eclipse.
Ah.
Listo. Falta, ¿cómo se llamaba? Mis islas.
total darkness here. This is incredible. Oh, wow. There it is. Diamond ring. Diamond ring. Wow, that's amazing. It's amazing. That is awesome. Look at that. Oh, and Bob, that's amazing. Walk over with you as you talk through the scope. We are right here at one of the telescopes that we have positioned here. Bob is looking through with the naked eye and going to give us some feedback on that. Maybe some prominences we're seeing. What's amazing is how dark it is compared to 2017. Much darker, a lot more astronomical features. We have seen Jupiter, and I believe what planet is that, Bob?
That's Venus
to the right. That's the Venus.
Can't quite see Mercury. I think it's obscured by those light clouds.
Yeah,
up
light
there.
clouds.
But 360-degree sunset around us.
This is amazing.
It's going to get darker.
It's going to get darker.
It's going to get darker.
Wow,
Yeah,
this is already pretty dark.
We are not in the middle of the shadow quite yet.
Wow.
Did you see it?
Yeah, timer started.
Okay, 2:46 to go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting some live data from the team here. I tell you, it's really impressive, Bob, because...
Oh, my gosh, it's getting better. See that prominence at the bottom
Yes, at the bottom, there's a prominence. I see it.
Wow. I keep looking
I
for
can't believe the
Mercury, so
clarity. It's so much darker than 2017.
It's gorgeous. And what's awesome, we have 6 telescopes running back here,
That's
capturing
awesome.
data, streaming this.
And that's a big important part here. This is not just capturing image to share with people watching the show. You are actually capturing scientific data that can be used by scientists everywhere.
We are, and we've seen totality across North America so far in Mazatlan. Now we're experiencing it ourselves, and we'll experience it after this on the Jumbotron from the other dev sites.
It's like the most amazing Eclipse train you could ever ride on.
Wow. This is a bit better than 2017.
Without a doubt, without a doubt.
No cloud.
And you know what's interesting is the crowd is quieting down. They seem to be experiencing the moment, taking it all in. A really special moment here.
Look at that. So we must be getting close to the center. Where are we at? 2 minutes? So 1 minute, 30 seconds. The corona's looking brighter because our eyes are adjusting now.
I mean, that is amazing, Bob. And how much corona you see. I mean, like just last time I didn't see that much.
Visually, oh, there goes a bat. See a bat flying over the crowd.
Oh yeah, we talked about the animals. Now we see them becoming active.
We found a Luna moth earlier as well. But that corona is about 4 times the diameter of the sun. That is massive.
That is amazing, Bob. And I'm really curious about that prominence at the bottom.
Have you looked yet, Blair? You have to look.
I haven't looked.
So take a look. So Blair's looking through the scope now.
Oh my goodness!
Totality.
No, that one right at the bottom is significant, Bob. It looks like a coronal mass ejection, but don't fact check me on that because I'm just a novice. But there's actually 2 on the Bob. You got to look at that. Yeah. There's 2. Look at the
30 seconds. William.
30 seconds left in totality. Jump in there. Take a look. It's great because we have telescopes out here for people to look at and actually see total eclipse through it.
Corona.
And
we're getting close.
I don't know what you guys are seeing on television, but
10 seconds. We got to cut it off.
Okay, all right, here we go. 10 seconds before we need to put our glasses back on.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
You're good. You're good. We put the cap back on the telescope to make sure nobody looks.
What an amazing event, Bob. There's the diamond ring. There's the second one. Oh, snap. Oh, that's amazing. It's like it was scheduled.
Yeah, somebody had the timing right here.
Oh my God. It's amazing.
We will see shadow bands again here.
You hear the crowd. Everybody's excited. There we go. What an amazing moment here at Saluki Stadium.
Oh my gosh.
With Bob Baer and 10,000 fans, all loving every moment of it. Bob, some final words.
Well, I think we just had an eagle fly over.
Okay, but incredible. Well, that's
So-
one of those things you said. We saw animal reaction, we
Yeah.
heard it, we felt it.
It was wonderful. So we got to keep an eye out for shadow bands. We're going to see them again in about 1 minute on the ground here.
Okay, so we'll keep looking for those shadow bands on the ground, but I got to tell you guys back at the studio, I know you guys have seen eclipses already. There's still some to come, but what an amazing moment. Back to you guys. Good weather all the way to the end.
Thank you, Blair. We are in Indianapolis. We are almost at Totality. With me, I have Nikki Rail, the Associate Director for Flight Programs for the Heliophysics Division, and Denise Hill, NASA's Outreach and Communications Lead for the NASA Heliophysics Division. You guys, let's get our glasses on. And you can hear the crowds start to roar as everyone gets on their glasses. We are so, so close. Ladies, what are we seeing right now?
I mean, just the ambiance of this moment. It is beautiful. We're just seeing a really small crescent, but the light all around us, it's so dusky.
And I'm
just odd.
It is. I'm feeling a temperature drop already, which I can't believe. It's feeling cooler. The crowd is starting to go wild.
Yeah.
We're still seeing that
Here
crescent.
we go. Here we go.
Getting
All
close.
right.
We are so
All right,
close.
and the best soundtrack you could possibly ask for in the background here.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Oh, we're so close.
Okay, just a little bit left, and you can really hear the crowd
Oh,
taking
here we
off.
go.
They
Starting to go
cannot be
wild.
more
Here we
excited.
go. Yeah, here we go.
There we go. We're so
All right,
close.
Here we go. Almost.
Almost. We are so, so close. And we...
Oh my gosh,
here
there's
we
that
go.
bright diamond ring.
Here.
All right. Oh, wow, look at that.
There it
I can
is.
see the...
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I can actually visualize the corona. I've always wanted to see that.
Wow. Look at that. Fantastic.
Oh my God, it's gorgeous.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely
An incredible sight.
amazing.
And dark.
Wow.
Wow.
Look at how dark it is. Oh my gosh.
Whoa.
And you can really see those streamers coming out right now. I'm seeing some bright lights around where we're seeing cratering, and I can see those streamers coming out of the corona.
And are those Bailey's beads? Are we seeing any Bailey's beads?
We were seeing some Bailey's beads. They're transitioning out a little bit, but yes, those bright light where the sunlight is shining through craters on the moon, mountains and
Wow.
craters. And look at those streamers of the corona. It is putting on a show.
Holy.
And it is dark.
Holy moly.
It is,
It is.
dark.
I gotta take a peek at the crowd right now.
Oh, look at the crowd.
Oh
The
my
crowd
gosh.
is
Oh
absolutely
my gosh.
going wild. Everyone's got their phone out. It is now safe to look at the eclipse without your glasses.
Wow.
What an amazing sight. Folks, we've got 4 minutes here, a little under 4 minutes to enjoy this.
Wow.
And if you were in an open field right now, you'd be able to see a sunset, a 360-degree sunset all
Yes.
around us.
Yes,
And you
I
can see a
can
little bit of
see
that
You
now.
can see the light around us a little bit.
Yes.
I have to say, this is my first total eclipse, Denise.
This is my first total
Incredible
total
to see it.
Totality.
Wow.
This is a bucket list moment for me.
This is incredible. Really a once in a lifetime, unless you're an eclipse chaser, which I'm considering it.
I might
I'm
become one after
considering it.
this.
I quit my job.
Wow,
Oh my
fantastic. Oh
we
my
spent
gosh.
so long trying to see that corona and to see it with my eyes.
Yes.
Your own eyes. Wow, just gorgeous.
I'm just in
Oh,
awe of
yes.
being this person on this rock moving around the sun.
Yes.
I can't even believe it right now.
Yeah, and to share this moment together with 50, 60,000 people all looking up at the moon and the sun all at once. It's just an incredible experience. For all the folks here in Indy and for all the folks watching, I hope you can take, the amazing energy and excitement from this crowd. What a special moment for the United States.
Oh my gosh, did you hear that? Look at this and everybody.
Oh, there we
my
go, the
goodness.
crowds. Wow. Okay, so I think we're seeing, those beautiful
The
prominences.
corona is just putting on such a show right now. It's got my
Yes.
full attention.
Wow.
That's all I can watch.
Holy cow. We've got some very
beautiful.
appropriate music going on in the background here.
Yes. This is the best version of getting mooned that I have ever experienced in my life.
Don't strain your eyes.
Wow. I am just in awe. There just aren't the right words.
to describe this?
I'm just noticing it feels so strange to me right now. Like I feel the hair on my arm standing up. I feel like it's nighttime and what am I doing? And it was daytime.
And actually, folks, we're starting to get some nighttime insects coming out. Yes, we're starting to see bugs.
Yeah, we are seeing bugs in light. It's hard to hear them over the crowd, but I can definitely see them flying.
Yes, I think the animals are a little bit confused. Nikki, while I have you, we've got a lot of programs at NASA looking at the sun. No eclipse glasses required. As the Associate Director of Flight Programs, tell me, what can we expect NASA to be sending to the sun in the next few years?
We are so lucky in the midst of this incredible time of solar max. We're getting ready to...
I'm seeing a diamond ring right now. The diamond ring. Take a look. Put your glasses back on. Be safe. That is the diamond ring, folks. Wow, spectacular. Oh my gosh. You can even hear fireworks in the distance. Yes. Oh my gosh. And the light is already starting to change.
It really is.
You can
wow.
And the crowd's loving it.
Hear the crowd just loving every second of it.
Oh, what a moment. I love those fireworks. Indianapolis is really pulling out all of the stops, and we love them for it. I also want to take a moment here to thank our two telescope operators, John and Dana, who have been providing these telescope views for us there from Ball State University. Thank you very much to John and Dana. All right.
It's like somebody flipped the lights back on.
It's like a sudden switch flip.
This is so crazy.
And I can feel it warming up already.
Yes.
Wow.
This is so amazing.
Incredible. Well, this is an incredible moment, and an incredible moment for the Helio Big Year. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. This has been fantastic.
Thank you for having me and sharing this.
I'm so excited to be here and to see this incredible sight.
Absolutely. Megan and Sarah, back to you.
Oh, that was so fun to experience, and I can't wait for us to do it now. Take a look at this drone shot where you can see it definitely got noticeably darker. We feel it here. It's colder. The crowd is cheering now. They're ready for Totality here in Cleveland, Ohio. We are less than 3 minutes away, 2 minutes and 18 seconds away from Totality here in Cleveland, Ohio. The crowd over here to our right going crazy, feeling the excitement. I'm ready for this. How are you?
Yeah, it's super cool. It's all of a sudden it's really getting dark and you're starting to feel it.
Yeah,
so cool.
It's like they just dimmed it out. Now it's like night. This happened within the last couple of seconds. But let's take a look around, because obviously we're not the only ones enjoying the total solar eclipse today. We have some we have some eclipse viewing events that we've seen around the country. So why don't we take a look at some of those? Wow. Oh my gosh. So this is
cool.
Times Square. That's the NASDAQ tower. And they are taking our feed live right now. And we're seeing
awesome.
Cleveland, Ohio's sun.
They're only going to get a partial eclipse today, but they get to watch our eclipse with us. So.
Yeah, I'm really glad that they can do that. Wow, look, that sliver of a crescent just left. It's actually perfect on that building.
It's beautiful.
The shape of that building, right? And we can see some people in the foreground taking a look, stopping to watch. It's hard to stop in Times Square, right? But they're stopping to take a look at this with us.
Beautiful.
Oh, awesome. So this is just next to us. This is Progressive Field here in Cleveland, Ohio. So the Guardians have their opening day today, and the first pitch is after 5 o'clock. But as you can see, they've opened up the stadium, and people are in there to enjoy the
big crowd
eclipse.
in there to watch that. That's great.
Yeah. You can, oh my gosh, it just got darker here.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. And then Mentor Civic Amphitheater, again, the field starting to fill, and everybody looking up at the sky for their opportunity to see today's solar eclipse. This is us back here in Cleveland. Everybody looking up at the sky. We have 30 seconds until Totality here in Cleveland, Ohio. Oh my God, I have goosebumps everywhere. Everybody's starting to cheer. I might cry. I kind of feel like crying. This is so cool to see. It's getting so dark so fast.
Wow, it's like night just descended on us.
And look at the crescent slowly disappearing. Crowds cheering here. Cell phones up, cameras up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Totality. Totality, everyone.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
I was
sure because we had some high clouds, but oh my goodness, you can see that corona extending out. Oh wow.
Yeah, the clouds were really bothering me. And it really scared me. It get very cloudy here in the last hour and a half, but we have a great view here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
Wow, look at the corona.
You can hear the crowd. Wow, everybody's got their phones out.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. You know, I saw pictures of what the shape of the corona might look like from our NASA scientists, and it looks exactly like they predicted.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and you can see Jupiter and Venus.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So Jupiter's to the upper left of the eclipse that we're watching, and just to the right of it is Venus.
Yes. Oh, and I see some of those pink protuberances we've been talking about all day.
Wow.
Beautiful.
And again, all around us you see light, but just at the top where we are.
360 sunsets.
Exactly, exactly. Yes, Indianapolis had described that as well.
Woo!
We have Totality here for 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
That is such a luxurious amount of time. I saw the 2017, I think we only had about 2 minutes. So.
And why is that? Why does the length of Totality differ?
Oh yeah, well, because sometimes the moon is a little closer, a little further away. Its orbit's elliptical. And so when it's further away, it looks smaller in the sky, but when it's closer, it looks bigger, and so we get a little bit more extra time.
Look at the prominence. You can see it on the bottom. On the bottom there.
So pretty.
Wow.
It's like bright pink.
That is insane that you can see it from there. From here.
Yes.
Just like the power of our sun. I'm truly in awe right now. And cold. I'm in awe and cold.
It did drop.
It is noticeably colder.
Degrees. It's like, yes.
Yes. Looking around to the crowd. A lot of people videotaping it, trying to take photos.
It's the lovely backdrop of the Cleveland skyline.
Yeah, that's beautiful. We have the stadium right next to us. Oh my gosh. And again, thanking the Great Lakes Science Center and NASA for hosting this event here in downtown Cleveland, Ohio.
And it's great to sort of join humanity to all come together at once and experience this together with such a great
Oh,
group
look at the
of
screen
folks.
right now. Here's a shot of the skyline. Wow, the sky looks on fire. Beautiful. A lot of excitement still here in the crowd. Sarah's just taking it all in. Sarah, you're supposed to be commentating. You're supposed to be saying.
It's so beautiful.
So you can tell that we have some cloud cover, right? It's kind of hazy here, but still.
It is, yeah, some high clouds. I was worried about it, but we can still really see, have a pretty good view here.
Wow. And again, this is so rare for people here in Cleveland to see a total solar eclipse. The last time was 1806.
Yes.
The next time, guys, 2444. That is incredible.
I hope everybody took the time to come outside and witness this today.
Oh my gosh. You can still see that prominence. Again, talk to us about what a
so
prominence
beautiful. Yeah, so that pink color comes from the helium in the sort of outer atmosphere of the sun there. Oh, it's beautiful.
And it gives off that pink glow.
Yeah.
Wow. Totality
here
ending
comes-
here.
here comes
Wow,
that-
there's the diamond ring. Oh!
Time to get your glasses back out.
Time to put your glasses back on, everyone. That's your cue. Glasses back
cue.
on.
We get
Wow.
that diamond ring.
Wow. What an amazing experience. My first total solar eclipse.
Yes.
Let's see what they think about this in Niagara with Daryl Nail.
Over the entire area. You can hear the crowd erupting at various moments when the eclipse has been seen, but we are under pretty cloudy conditions, and David Sheeny is with us. He's a program executive with the Heliophysics Division. David, this is a challenging situation to be in order to try to see this eclipse. We've seen glimpses.
We have seen glimpses, so we're basically spending our time staring at the sky, hoping for a little bit of a glimpse of what would be a totality. So right now, the sky has just completely gone dark. You can see all the lights, basically, everybody's cameras and everything else are all making it lighter. And it's gotten significantly colder as well, just over the last several minutes.
And it's like it's fascinating to see it go night like this. We've been listening to everybody across the country enjoying Totality and seeing it clear. That's not the experience we're having here. In fact, it's so cloudy that our telescope operator, Jessica Bellina, who's working very hard to try to get a lock on it, has not been able to get that telescope feed dialed in because she has to have a view of the sun in order to see it. So we don't have a feed for you from Niagara. What we have is just every once in a while you'll hear part of the crowd, only part of the crowd will cheer because I guess they kind of have an angle through the clouds to see just a little bit.
Yeah, and the clouds have really only cleared out enough occasionally to even need eclipse glasses. So for the most part, you have a thick enough layer of clouds that you can see the eclipse without them, and it's just fine. So a lot of us have been able to just take regular pictures with our cameras.
Let's take a look and just kind of enjoy the moment of darkness that we're in now. People have come from all over the world to be
yeah, you
here.
can see some. It looks like it's a little bit lighter up there. Our spotlights are blinding these guys. Can we turn the spotlights down? So there, oh look, you got a little bit of eclipse right there with people watching. So we're just catching little glimpses of things as we look up into the sky. So this might not be as exciting as some, but this is what we get. We're just hoping to have a little bit of a glimpse.
Well, we've got 3 minutes and 29 seconds for it to happen. We're already a minute or so in.
Right.
We heard there's going to be skydivers that are going to jump out. Probably hard to see them.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll get to see the skydivers. You can't see any of Niagara Falls really. It's basically all like as if it was night for us here. You can start to see some of the light come in from the other side.
So we're taking now a view of Tupper Lake, New York. That's
oh look, there you go.
Oh, hey,
right
we
goes
got a
Totality
shot.
right there. We're getting Totality right now that we can
there
see.
It is.
We just got a really nice clear spot right there. So
wow,
got a little bit of hole through the clouds so everybody could see.
Just opened up, and now that was the roar from the crowd that you just heard, and just as soon as it showed.
So yeah, we're continuing to watch the Totality that we're getting right now. You can see a little bit of hint on the side as it's shining through.
Well, there it ducked down.
Yep.
Jessica,
so here we go. We have another view, a little bit, another little view right here.
No.
As it's starting to peek out around.
Oh, there it is.
So we're getting starting to peek out just around right there. Yep.
Well, Totality is complete.
Yeah. Well, that was a fun experience to watch and hope for, like just everybody else around here hoping for a view. And we got it.
That was a unique experience. Bring the lights up. And suddenly night is turning into light and day.
Yeah, we're getting some light again. Oh, although that's a lot of light.
I was worried there for a second that we weren't going to get anything. David Cheney, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you sharing this experience. I was really worried that we were going to see something. Fortunately for everybody here in Niagara Falls, we got to see a little bit of the eclipse. And
yes, we did. That was great.
We're cheering now. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome.
As we take a look around the falls, and people have not moved. They are still looking up, enjoying the partial eclipse now. We're going to bring in Jeremy Hansen. He is a Canadian Space Agency astronaut who has been at the falls with us for the past few days. And Jeremy, you're going to be on Artemis 2, of course, the mission. We'll talk a little bit about that. And
I'm going to be looking over your shoulder here, Darryl.
Hey, make sure you put on your glasses.
We're still pretty safe. We got a lot of cloud cover, but
that's true.
That was actually, I think, exceeded expectations.
Well, I mean, when your expectations start off with just clouds everywhere.
Yeah.
And I didn't think we were going to get anything. How did you feel when it finally poked through?
I felt like success because we all really wanted to see it in totality, and we might have only saw it for 5 seconds, but we did get to see it, and we could see the corona, and that was just very special for me. So I really like that. And then when it passed totality, it was like this amazing, hopefully the camera captured it, but just like that amazing sunrise just coming across the clouds. Actually, the clouds kind of made a nice backdrop for it. So that was pretty special.
That was very unique, very special. I'm so glad and a little relieved that we got to see a little bit of it. That was the moon passing in front of the sun. You're going around the moon in September of 2025, currently scheduled for that. You'll be the first Canadian to do so. You just saw a real special moment. That's another one. What are your thoughts on getting ready to take that big trip?
You can imagine I have a lot of thoughts about Artemis 2 and what Reed, Christina, Victor, and I are getting ready to undertake. But if I have to boil it down, a lot of it comes down to pride. I'm really proud of humanity for taking on these big challenges. We're really proud of the United States for their leadership, for creating this opportunity where other countries can express our genius, bring real contributions to the program. And now Canada is going to be the second country in the world to send a human into deep space. And it's got nothing to do with me. It has to do with the genius that the world is sharing. I just love that.
That's amazing. Want to mention real quick, we are in full totality up at Tupper Lake, New York, not far from here in northeastern New York. We're here in western New York where light is continuing to shine and get a little bit brighter. It really is special, and we really felt that in the 4 days that you were here interacting with the public. Was that your sense?
There's a lot of excitement around this celestial event that's happening and around space exploration in general, which I find really uplifting. I don't think space exploration solves all the problems or challenges of the world, but I do believe it is one of the pillars of those solutions. It doesn't matter what problem you're looking at, space plays a role. And I love it when I see our youth getting fired up about, asking me, how do I work at NASA? How do I work at the Canadian Space Agency? We're on the US side here, but I've had some Canadians come up to me. It's just something that brings us together, this, the spirit of humanity. Just like this experience we're having here, it's a very, it feels like community. We're all out here, just humans, just being humans and sharing something special.
And sharing it together was really neat, that communal part that you talk about. Like, I felt a little bit of a bond with everybody here now. You as well. Appreciated seeing you and having dinner of the past few nights. Just happened to work out coincidentally. Really enjoyed the time. Great words today, and we will all be rooting you on for your mission coming up in September of next year. So good luck. Be safe. We'll be rooting you and your crew on. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, we'll take it. I appreciate that. I don't know if you saw it when you're on camera because you were busy, but the birds, they just went nuts in Totality. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it.
They're all up here. They came out of the woodwork. I mean, there's been birds all day, but it was sort of like birds filling the sky. I thought that was really neat to see. Anyway, thanks for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you fill that out in your citizen science journal. Make sure you put that in there because we're doing that. All right, thank you, Jeremy. And I just want to say thank you also to New York State Parks, Niagara Falls specifically. We couldn't have done this without you. So thank you very much. Definitely. We're going to throw it now to Kennedy Space Center where James Traley is tracking Totality at Tupper Lake. James?
That's right, Daryl. Yeah, we are still in Totality in Tupper Lake. We are nearing the end of our eclipse across North America. You can see our last target of the day, Holton, Maine, is all the way up here, almost off your screen. This speed of the eclipse shadow is moving so quickly across. The ground speed is about 2,000 miles per hour, so that is a fast clip. If you're in the path of totality, really take full advantage of those few fleeting moments to observe this moment. If you're not in that path of totality, or if you missed it, hopefully you didn't miss it because we've been tracking it all day here showing you. If you did miss it, I'm going to zoom way out here and show you what to keep an eye out for in the future. So this is going to be the eclipse path in 2045. We're going to come through parts of Montana into North Dakota in 2044. 2045 is the next big eclipse across America. That's actually going to come, oops, I didn't draw here. There we go. That's going to come all the way from California into parts of Florida there. That is in 2045, so a long time to wait. So really take full advantage of those fleeting moments to be able to observe this moment. I'm going to click on Burlington here, who are also in that path of totality, experiencing that right now too. So just an incredible moment to really see all of this. And Tupper Lake, again, they're still, I think, experiencing that last fleeting moment there. That is just moving off. You can see that is officially now moved off Tupper Lake. Really a fantastic shot. They have that now, that diamond ring effect, that really beautiful shot there. This is, again, such a quick moment, and this doesn't happen very often. It's really a once-in-a-lifetime moment, so take full advantage of this. You can see just how close we are now to Holton, Maine, who are our last stop of the day on our NASA coverage here. This is then going to continue on into parts of Canada and beyond. Holton, Maine, they had some snow past couple days. It seems to have cleared up quite a bit more for them. Really hoping that that holds out for them. They are expecting a duration of 3 minutes and 20 seconds to be able to observe that totality at 3:32:05 local time. Really excited to see that view. You see that shadow creeping so quickly up to them up there. So let's check in with Angelique, who is up there in Holton, Maine. Hopefully it's beautiful weather for you. How's it looking up there, Angelique?
James, it is looking awesome up here. We are just a few minutes away from Totality. Can hear people announcing it in the back, and people are getting excited, as am I. And here to share in all of that excitement with us is actually Dr. Eric Smith, the program scientist for the James Webb Space Telescope. Eric, it's so great to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here, Angelique. This is really exciting.
Eric, is this your first eclipse?
This is the first totality I'm going to see, so I am super psyched, and I am delighted to be here in Maine to experience it.
Yes, and so we've actually been kind of watching as it slowly gets closer and closer, right? And what are we're starting to feel it getting kind of cooler. We're seeing the shadows change.
Yeah, we're seeing the light is definitely different from when the sun sets and the shadows get a little diffuse. Here they're still sharp, but the light is diminishing. Your brain tells it something different is happening.
Something is definitely up. So, speaking of up, that's where the James Webb Space Telescope is. And what's interesting about the telescope is that it actually can't look directly at the sun, just like we can't.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about why that is?
Sure. We designed Webb to look for very faint things in the distant universe, so it's very sensitive for very faint things. Of course, the sun is very bright, and so we had to make sure that it could never look at the sun. We use solar power to power the spacecraft, but the telescope can't look at the sun.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, as it's starting to get a little bit closer to all of the cool phenomenon, the Bailey's beads, the diamond, let's go ahead and put on our glasses.
All right.
So that we can look up and continue chatting. Wow. Just a little bit left. That is incredible. Wow. So, Eric, I have a couple more questions for you. Another thing that I was wondering about is how we can use actually eclipses to study exoplanets, which are planets outside of our solar system, using, I think, the transit method. Is that what that's called?
Yeah. Right now, during an eclipse, the moon...
Sorry, you can hear everybody getting excited. We're getting very close to totality here.
The moon is transiting in front of the sun just the way planets that orbit around other stars transit in front of the star. So Webb can look at those exoplanets and use the transit just like we're staring up at the moon transiting the sun.
Gotcha. And so a transit is, like you said, literally just when something crosses in front of something else.
That's right,
transit.
yeah.
Okay. Very cool. So throughout the broadcast, we've actually been able to see the eclipse through different telescope feeds. Can you tell me a little bit about what the difference is between, actually, we're going to go ahead.
Oh, here we go.
We're getting really close. Oh my gosh, it looks like just a few more seconds until we are in complete totality. Oh my gosh. 5, 4, 3, here we go.
All right, welcome back everybody. We have just finished up the Eclipse event. It went spectacular, and I'm here with the group, the panel of awesomeness here that helped us put together this wonderful event for everybody for here in El Paso, Texas. We welcome to the booth now, we have Evelyn Maldonado from the Gene Roddenberry Planetarium. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you experienced and what you brought with you for the general public?
Yes, sure. So first of all, thank you so much. I appreciate being a part of the event. Again, the planetarium is part of El Paso Independent School District, and at the planetarium we offer a lot of public shows, a lot of field trip opportunities, free of charge for any student in the region of El Paso, as well as for our public. And we're very excited, and we are planning our summer programs for the public. So for more information, please stay tuned. Follow us on Facebook. We do have our website under the EPISD main website, so it's episd.org/planetarium. And soon, very, very soon, in there you will be able to find all the information about our awesome public shows that will be available for everyone to come and enjoy.
Great, that's awesome. We look forward to seeing that happen in the summer. Patricia Isas, would you like to talk a little bit more about the service learning program?
Yes, thank you, John. John is one of the biggest supporters for the service learning program through his NASA Globe Observer program. And he's been able to engage throughout the years many different students. He was just telling me of one of his students, Reina, who is doing the blog and participating in translating it in Spanish. So whether you are in one of the physics class or the astronomy classes, you can do it not only for those classes, but any other classes, but it's a great way to engage and learn not only virtually, and you don't have to be in one place, but you can also find the service learning and more information about the program at the service learning program if you go to the EPCC website. Thank you.
Great. Is there anything you want to add there, Olinka, Dr.
Yes.
Delo? Please talk us a little bit about some of the things that are happening in physics.
Yes, of course. So, we have our amazing programs in astronomy and physics where you can learn much more about the cosmos, about the sun, the eclipses, and to have, you will have different events like this one. We also are offering some moon observations during the classes. You can learn how to use the telescopes and to participate in events like this. We collaborate very closely with the Gene Roddenberry Planetarium and some other district schools here at the El Paso community, as well as with some other people outside, like with the National School of Archaeology and History in Mexico City, where our guest speaker, Antonio Gomez, gave us an amazing talk about how the older cultures understand and see the eclipses. And Antonio, do you want to share something else with us?
Thank you. It was a great event. I'm so happy. Congratulations for this, for the organization. I feel very happy to be here. And I invite you to go into my webpage, constelacionesmayas.com. Again, constelacionesmayas.com. There you can find my books and some more information on how to understand our ancestors and the relationship with the astronomy. Thank you very much. Congratulations again.
And that about does it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for participating and coming to EPCC. Again, a great place to start. Wonderful opportunities are here for you and waiting for you. We are also here to help for anybody who wants more additional information, who wants to participate in any of our events and future enrollment. If you have any inclination to go into future careers, let us know at epcc.edu. You can give us a call. And I want to thank everybody here who has actually helped us and joined for our wonderful event on the Eclipse 2024 Extravaganza. Thank you so much, and we will see you all very soon. Again, remember, EPCC is the great place to start, and let's hope to see you soon here on our campus. Have a good one, everybody.